The following presentation is a Deej Experience production and may not be recorded, rebroadcasted, or retransmitted without the express written permission of Deej Experience, LLC. For more information, visit us online at www.deejexperience.com. Saturday morning to you here live on the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. My name is Scott Lockwood. Welcome in. Brought to you here by Dynasty Construction. I want to welcome you all in to the Rossbacker studio. And I want to thank Dynasty Construction, our main sponsor here, for addition sidings, decks, roofing, kitchens, bathrooms, all that good stuff. You can contact them. They finished my house, Dewey.
Good.
Finished our house, Dewey. Yeah, we got Mr. Dewey Hurd in the house today. And we got our special guest, Corry girls softball coach, Miss Allison Williams. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
So, a lot to go over today. We'll start with wrestling, Dewey. Let's recap what the Beavers did here down in the state playoff tournament.
Start with the boys. Mason Savitz missed out on the blood round. One round short of getting into the medal round. Will Allen went 0 for 2 on the tournament down at Hershey, so he was out early. We have one guy left in, and that is Cale Albers. He's in the 7th place match later today, and that will wrap things up for the Hershey trip for the boys. On the girls' side, we have Forspring that lost in the championship semifinals, which dropped her down into the semifinals on the Conti side, but then unfortunately didn't make weight this morning, and that's
heartbreaker. That's
going to bump her down to the 5th place match, potentially done for placement altogether.
Yeah, tough break there, but what a showing by Corry Wrestling.
Oh, and then Kuzma also at 136 was knocked out just like Mason was at the blood round, so she was just one round away from making medals.
Big effort, though. A lot of Beavers in it, and something to be proud on and something to build on, especially for the girls' end of wrestling. I know you're not a big proponent of the girls' wrestling for whatever reason, one reason or another, but
that's for a side discussion.
Yeah, side discussion. we won't talk about it here, but nothing against the girls, and a lot of them. I've seen Coda wrestle a couple times. She's an animal. That kid is an athletic animal. And I'm excited to see, when she gets into her sophomore, junior year, what it's going to be, because that kid's a go-getter. Yeah,
most of the girls. We had no seniors on the team this year, so in their inaugural season, they had an outstanding performance. Not a full lineup, but numbers will come as they continue on in the years forward.
So we're kind of dragging a little today as we went down to Bishop McCourt last night, a 3.5-hour road trip. So we got a call, or text message rather, from the Eisenhower coach of the girls basketball team, and he said, "Hey, can you guys cover it?" And I'm like, "If you cover the cost, we'll go." So I gave him a price, and he said, "Done." And I'm like, "Yay." Why'd I do this? But we were happy to go down. It's just such a long road trip down, but the Eisenhower, they put on a good showing in first quarter or so, and then Bishop McCourt kind of showed the private school end of, hey, this is how we do things, and we're stacked and loaded, and
yeah, they kind of woke up and got their offense running, and every mistake that Eisenhower made, they capitalized on it, and the ball was in the bucket. So a 7-5 lead for Eisenhower quickly turned into a 28-10 advantage after the first quarter. So the big dog woke up early in that game.
Yeah. So, but great season for Eisenhower. We got a gift, and we'll shout it out one more time. They gave us gift boxes last night. Our sponsor was pickyourpepper.com, electric pepper. If you're into hot stuff, this stuff is the ticket. They've got gift sets. Did you actually open this up last night?
I left it in your truck.
Well, I thought you might have looked at it when he gave it to us. But,
no, I didn't. I'm giddy with excitement.
Yeah, it's
Giddy.
So in the gift box, there's 4 different sauces. Some of it's... I'm excited about the Old Smoky because it's kind of a, more milder sauce.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave us this, and then I'm going to pull over here. And when you cap something that looks like blood on your bottle, this is a ghost pepper sauce, and I'm guessing... You're going to be a ghost after you eat it, because this is...
You're going to be hiding in the bathroom, probably.
Yeah. Your backside's not going to like you. We'll put it that way. So thank you going out to Electric Pepper and Wicked Tickle. We had some Wicked Tickle 3s last night, and it was kind of fun, But they gave us a gift set. They're very thankful that we showed up. And, the coach and the Eisenhower fans, of course, always are thankful. It seems like we get that a lot. Any school we walk into, they're excited we're there. So we're thankful for the opportunity. And
not only that, but we had a couple parents come up and thanked us when we were down at the Bishop McCourt, come up and seen us before the broadcast. And talked with us.
Lainey Font's mom, she was excited. Well, last game, she was super excited because I believe it was Steve and Jack covered the first game we did for him, and her daughter got player of the game. So, of course, she was super excited about that. She was like, "We love you guys, but you gave my daughter player of the game, and now we love you even more." I'm like, we'll give them all player of the game then. Why not? So, hey, we got Coach Allison Williams. Coach, how was your week this week?
It was good.
Good.
Good getting back into things.
Yeah, gym practices, I'm sure. We're not seeing very spring-friendly weather yet, but how have the girls adapted? How do you adapt when you're playing in the gym to go into a field? I don't know. I don't understand how it works because you can't long throw in the gym, right? So what's the process and how do you get them ready to go here?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time when we're in the gym on footwork, little footwork drills, ladders, kind of just really working, drop steps, coming in on the ball, the little things that we don't necessarily focus on when we're outside and we get a whole field and we can practice that way. But just getting them back into things, getting them moving. We did make it outside once this week for about 20, 30 minutes or so until the rain sent us back in to finish up our practice. But it was good to get a start to see of what we have on the team. And they were excited. You could tell they were talking nonstop and just excited to be out on the field. So hopefully next week, get the snow off our field and we can be out there and see that. But
well, it's exciting. I want to get into last season where we ended up. We had that wild playoff game against Northwestern that was crazy. That was a fun game to call, by the way. A little nail biting, but I figured we're down, now we're up, and now we're down again, now we're up again. Like it was back and forth, and I don't know if you were there for that one, dude. You missed a great game. You're covering baseball somewhere.
Northeast baseball at Mercyhurst Prep University.
Yes, that was it. And then you came and we won't get into that.
We're not going there.
But yeah, so Northwestern and then end up losing to Harbor Creek, who ended up winning the state title. Good showing last year. There are high expectations for this team. I'm hearing buzz all over the place about the softball team this year. I'm excited to get it going, and I know you got to be as well.
Yep.
But with that being said, there's a lot of key pieces we lost last year.
Yes.
So let's start there. We lose Casey Porter in center field. We lose Burlew in the outfield. We lose Goodwill at shortstop, and you lose your catcher, Mackenzie Spence. You're right up the middle. Like, that's your core part. And Coach Elchinski, you build from the middle out. We're missing the middle. So who do we got coming in to potentially replace these key components that graduated last year?
I mean, right now, like I said, we only made it outside there once, so we haven't seen a ton of different options. But we've got Allie Etzer behind the plate, stepping up already. I'm seeing that. Middle, we've got some different options. We've seen Sid Mineo in there a little bit. Yep.
So I was talking to Dewey, and I'm like, because we were talking about this on the way home, 3.5 hour drive. You got a lot to talk about, right? Like, so I'm just going around. I'm like, well, we have Kendall at third. We have Sawyer and Sadie at first. Peyton at second. Sawyer at second, however you rotate them in and out with pitching. And I'm like, Mara will probably move to center field with her speed.
Got some options out there.
We have other options?
We have options,
okay.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of kind of playing with seeing different situations when we have a different pitcher on the mound. So we've already got some drawn ups of what we want to see on Monday when we're outside. Fingers crossed that we're outside.
Are you cursing the snow yet? Because
yeah, it's playing Wednesday. You're kind of those nerves are starting to set in. Man, we haven't got to see this, but again, you're stuck with and seeing it in a gym isn't like seeing it on a field are gonna really show you. But we've got a strong outfield with some different options that we have out there right now.
Well, let's talk about those options because. To me, I thought that Mineo would probably fit right in nice at short. What I seen of her last year when she got to play, from the JV side of things, and she filled in, I believe, a couple times when Goodwill wasn't there or got hurt or whatever the case was. She looked pretty good out there. So I wasn't so much worried about short position, but again, anytime you lose a player of the caliber of Goodwill, there's going to be a little drop off. Allie's just been a solid player for years. Outside of that, those are the only two I had really in my mind that were pegged were Goodwill and Mineo. What do we have coming up?
Outfield-wise?
Outfield-wise.
We've got, obviously, Mara Goodwill coming back, Miley Gwynn, Reagan Porter, Allison Sawyer is an option out there as well.
Okay.
And again, all speed, all good arms. So definitely some choices that we've got to make.
Be interesting. Your catching position, Yetzer, we've commented on her before as the season went on last year, watching her play back there, she just takes command. As she was one, now your catcher is like your quarterback out there. She's going to be able to handle that role, correct?
I think so. Last year we asked her to do it, and it wasn't her primary position. She stepped right in. There was no fear. She saw the need, and she took it and was successful with it and came in ready this year to do the same. So,
all right. Let's go around the base pad, shall we? Kendall Chamberlain coming back on the third base bag, the hot corner there. Hips kind of still iffy, I hope she stays healthy. Shout out to Kendall. And by the way, Kendall, you could have came today. We're always open for anybody to come on the show. You're more than welcome. Anytime your coach comes, you're always welcome. That goes for you too, McCrae. So if you're out there watching, so let's talk about your infield. Kendall, steady as a rock out there on the third base bag. We kind of just went over shortstop a little bit. Second base, usually McCrae. She flip-flops, depending on when she's not pitching. Tossing a rock, striking people out, Striking a lot of people out this year. Right, Peyton? First base, Sadie Dine, when she's not pitching.
Yep.
And so the difference this year, Sawyer's not going to throw. So You mentioned her maybe playing outfield, second base as well, first base. She's pretty much can play anywhere, right?
Yep. Very versatile.
Utility player. You'd like a whole cupboard full of them.
Right. It's kind of nice.
So your infield's pretty much set. Your catching is your young sophomore out there, probably get the job done. As you look at this schedule coming forward, these girls, we've seen them in volleyball. A lot of them just got done with basketball season. They are leaders. How much is that going to take off of your plate when it comes to the actual coaching and getting some of these younger players ready to go?
I've already seen it this year. There's been a couple definitely just taking on that role and stepping up, going and grabbing maybe a freshman or a sophomore to be their partner and hitting, not butting up. We've also been find a new partner, get to know another person, but they're a good group who want it and are going to put their time in every time that we're at practice. So the energy this week at practice has been great. Again, being stuck in the gym, we know that's not ideal, but they've taken it and they've just gone with it, I guess. Haven't given up or anything, gotten bored in there. We did a quick little hitting session this morning, and they were bright-eyed and ready to go at 8 a.m., so that was good to see, too.
On a Saturday?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Good job.
Yep.
All right, so we're in a whole new region. We're going to get into this in a minute. We got to take a quick commercial break here and pay some bills. But in a new region this year, it's kind of different. You got to feel for some of them you played last year. We played Cathedral Prep at the beginning of last year. Connie, it's right up there. Them and Cathedral Prep have battled over the last couple of years. Outside of that, we know Fairview. We played them. Northwestern, we played them in the playoffs.
Oh, yes. Other than that,
that was a crazy game. That one was so much fun. But this region this year, Fairview, Northeast, Conneaut, Girard, and Northwestern. We're going to talk about it. We got to take a break. We'll be right back with your head coach of the Corry softball team, Allison Williams. Dewey Hurd with us. You're watching the Deej Peeps podcast. We'll be back after this. Why should you choose Corry Federal Credit Union? Since 1958, Corry Federal Credit Union has been committed to your community, your hometown, and to you. CFCU has accounts for all your needs like checking, savings, youth accounts, business accounts, money market, CDs, IRAs, and HSAs with rates that work for you. They have unbeatable loan rates for auto, mortgage, signature, line of credit, and business loans. They have you covered. Corry Federal Credit Union, your hometown credit union, located at 728 Worth Street in Corry, 56 North Main Street in Union City, and 315 Main Street in Spartansburg. Federally insured by NCUA, equal housing lender. Membership eligibility required.
We are a full-service general contractor. We do everything from the ground up. We take pride in the fact that we don't use a lot of subcontractors. We have our own in-house masons, cement, roofers, siders, drywall finishing, electricians. This is our 20th year in business. Our employees mean the world to us. We couldn't do what we do without the guys that we have. And we take pride in the fact that most of the guys that have been here for a very long time. If you're looking to have a project done, feel free to reach out to us.
When you need health care, you deserve a health system that takes a whole-person approach to medicine for you and your family. Whether you need the expert care of our hospitals, the specialized knowledge of our clinical practices, the compassionate support of our behavioral health network, or our continuum of services for seniors, you can rely on LECOM Health. Founded in Erie, invested in Erie, advancing health care in Erie. LECOM Health, whole-person care for a lifetime.
And welcome back in here to the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. Scott Locke with Dewey Hurd with you. And head coach of the Corry softball team, Mrs. Allison Williams in the house. And I don't know if you know this, Dewey used to be an umpire back in the day.
I did not.
Baseball?
Mostly. Predominantly.
Yeah.
Like 95%. I did a few girls stuff, but I that was one thing that I was scared of. I stayed away from it.
Softball?
Uh-huh.
Why?
A little bit different rules than what baseball is, and softball moms are a different animal altogether.
Softball moms?
Well, you have coaches, you have the general fans, and then you have softball moms. And I'm sure Allison knows what I'm talking about. It's kind of similar to wrestling moms. They're just a different breed.
Okay.
You don't mess with Mama Bear.
All right. Well, if you say so.
So that was one area that I just I stayed away from. And there was really when I was umpiring, there wasn't much of a need for softball umps, so it just kind of fit the bill.
Well, there you have it. Umpire Dewey in the house. So welcome back in here, and you're getting text messages over the break. Somebody don't like being called out. No, look, I'm excited about the senior class this year. They've been an absolute joy to cover over the last 4 years for us. And when you look at them, very tightly knitted group, different from a lot of different senior classes. You know, each one kind of develops their own flavor as they get older. What has it been about this group of seniors that you've enjoyed coaching?
This group, so all 6 of them, this will actually be my first senior group that I've coached all the way through.
Right.
So that's a big thing. But again, they're just all the talent, the work ethic, the leadership that they've taken on. It's just everything that a coach asks for out of all 6 of them.
And they're funny kids.
They are.
They are funny kids. And I don't even hang out with you that much, but the stories I hear...
There's lots of them.
The bus rides have to be the best part of the year.
Actually, they're pretty quiet on the bus.
Really?
Yeah. It's getting there. They're pretty focused. There's a few little, sometimes you get it on the way home. It's usually quiet again. So it's kind of shocking because it's not what I expected when I got to know this group of girls, but I'm not complaining either.
Well, when they get wound up, I'm pretty sure you'd like to be a bug on the wall because they can. It'd be fun. I mean, so some of the interviews that we've done over the years, and it's just they're a joy to be around.
So one of the funnest things, and I don't know why, the funnest thing I get to hear when we do the JV game is the fire engines.
Oh, yes. Hopefully that's back this year.
That has been just, it's taken on a life of its own. And it's Sawyer and Dine, correct?
Yes. And they've added in a little group to that, too. So.
Okay.
They started it.
You better bring heat with that this year. That's all I'm going to say, because we're expecting it, and I'm going to turn the field mic up when it happens. So we're going to get a good copy of it. And we'll put it in somewhere. Maybe we'll throw it in volleyball or something. I don't know. But we'll take the audio and...
There you go.
I'll give it to Sammy. Maybe you'll get him to...
I've got a good video of it. If you need it, I can share it.
Yeah, that's... they're a great group of kids, though. So the senior class, good luck to you this year. Juniors coming up. Who we got?
Mara Goodwill, Sydney Minio, and Chesney Hodak.
Okay.
Juniors.
We'll get into JV here in a minute, but your expectations for the season. We know it's a high expectations around the fan base. I hear it every day. Everybody's excited for softball to start. I'm excited for softball to start. Taking a look at your schedule, have you kind of pinpointed, okay, this is the target number of wins we'd like to get this year? Obviously, you'd want to go undefeated. Mm-hmm. But realistically, have you set that goal yet? Have you talked to the kids about what you want to accomplish this year?
Not necessarily to the number of wins, I guess. We'll sit down here and make our personal goals. They all do that. Team goals as well. But we're just looking for that, having that grit, determination all the way through, not giving up. That's been our biggest thing. You've seen that in the games that you've covered.
Yeah.
There's never giving up. Those girls fight for it. They won't surrender at any point. They're just going to keep going. So that's always our motto that we followed for Years.
The aggressive base running has been my favorite thing about this team, and their speed allows you to do that.
Yes.
I want to say leadoff, but now that's got to be a new position, right? Somebody's got to take that role over because it was Porter. You kind of run that first 8th hitting with your 2 speed people. Who are you looking at to lead off this year?
Can't say that as of right now, to be honest with you.
So you're still young
there.
yet.
Yeah,
you're still young yet in the season.
I know we've got next week, but kind of those 2 games we have next week are when we get to play with it a little bit and see what we have there. But we definitely, again, that speed is their aggressiveness and just the smarts of the game is nice for them. You know, they have it. They see it. It's not, everything's not necessarily coached. They know what they're doing out there. And I love to watch them do that and have that confidence in themselves to do it.
As far as pitching goes this year, we'll do that before we get. We're going to get into the new region here in a minute, but pitching this year, saw you're not going to be throwing, so that you got 2, and then you got Gertie if needed, and you looking at a couple others.
We have a freshman, Kota Kuzma, will be coming in.
Okay, Kuzma.
Allison Yatzer's another option as well. But yeah, Peyton and Sadie will lead us there as our 2 senior pitchers this year.
Baseball is terrible.
Yes.
The pitch count, and I wonder, maybe you can explain why there's a pitch count in baseball, but there's not a pitch count in softball.
Ours is a more natural motion.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
it's the underhand. It's not the okay.
In baseball, your arm comes over the top, and
Right.
you put a lot of strain on the arm. When it's softball, it's coming through, and it's more of a natural, and it's just like a pendulum motion, and it doesn't put a lot of strain on your arm. So
Okay.
that's why there's a pitch count in baseball and not in softball.
I'm just inquiring mind wants to know.
Back in the day when I played Little League, we had innings. You know, you could only throw so many innings, and then you had to have days rest. But they've even changed that.
Yeah, I
more
thought
this
there
year.
was,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So have you gotten a chance to watch a lot of the Little League last year?
I did. Yep.
So are you involved in that at all? Do you kind of just watch and talk to some of the other coaches? Or
Kind of just watch, see what's coming up. Tried to make it to a couple of the open gyms that they did down at the primary school this year. Only made it to 2 with my schedule. A couple of the seniors went with me on the last one, so that was fun to kind of get them involved and helping out there.
So you came up through Corry.
Yep.
Corry softball.
Yep.
What have you taken through your experience coming up through and incorporate that into your program? Is there things that you want to make changes to, or is there stuff that you learned as you came up through that you keep in your program as you move forward?
Definitely.
Basically, just talk about your experience coming up through and so on.
I started playing when I was 6, all the way through Corry Little League. We were at states twice in the game, Eastern Regionals, to go on to World Series. 1-0 loss there. Not that I remember that exactly from how many years ago, but it definitely shaped me into the coach that I am today. Maybe some do's, some don'ts even that I've experienced through the years. And I've taken a lot from my college coach as well. Her and I had a very good bond, and I actually did my coaching minor, so I did my coaching practicum with her. And my super senior year, I got to went to Florida with them, really get involved in the coaching aspect of it. So I've taken a lot from what she's done, like our competition teams that necessarily don't involve softball, but it's that team bonding that is crucial to the game of softball. That are fun little themes that they come dressed in, and our games that we play and all that stuff. You know, it's 10 minutes at the end of practice, but that's really, I think, helped you get those bonds from seniors to freshmen, and they're not just in their classes and whatnot. But Little League was a big part of my life when I grew up. I mean, it was a lot.
Before we get into the region, has the COVID influence worn off yet, or is that something you're still kind of dealing with as far as, because I know some teams, for instance, Northeast doesn't have a JV team. That year off can kill a softball, baseball program, and now you've got to work on rebuilding. It doesn't look like that has affected us last year. As far as the sport itself, has it fully recovered yet, do you think?
I think so, because I think so many of them are involved in, travel ball, and they're playing. They kind of never stopped. I mean, even though we had that little break, it didn't necessarily stop for everyone.
They were cheating.
Yeah.
Cheaters never prosper unless. Never mind, I won't go there. But all right, so let's get into this region. So we have Fairview. It's like ECL, right? With Cathedral Prep and Conneaut. So Fairview, Northeast, Girard, Northwestern, Cathedral Prep, and Conneaut. Cathedral Prep, Conneaut are very strong teams. They've been in the playoffs. They battled each other, I think, the last 2, maybe 3 years in the playoffs. We've seen Fairview. We know what they have. They're a very solid program. I don't think they're not beatable. I think if we slip up a game that they could steal one. But Fairview, tough program. Northeast, I think, is a bit young this year. And without the JV team, that's going to hurt a little bit. And Girard, I think, is on the weaker side of things as well, as far as I can remember. They've got a young coach, and they're trying to build numbers back up there in Girard. So when you look at this region, I just think it's going to be Corry, Prep, and Conneaut at the top. What are you expecting out of this region this year as far as competition-wise, from what you know, because we don't know a whole lot about some of these teams?
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. That's going to be the top that we're kind of competitive with. Obviously going into every game with the same exact mindset. The girls know that. We don't take anyone lightly. No matter what we know, what we don't know about them, we're going in ready to go on that.
Schedule-wise, so let's run through the schedule because there are some interesting matchups this year. We're going to start it off hopefully next week you get on the field. We got scrimmages scheduled for Wednesday and Friday, a little different from baseball because of the turf. I remember last year there were some brutal cold games, but they got them in early. It's never fun in northwestern Pennsylvania playing softball early in the year. But so Cambridge Springs on Wednesday, General McLean on Friday, both scrimmages. The home opener scheduled for March 19th against Fort LaBeouf, who has been a solid program over the years.
Always.
So the first 2 games out of the gate, home games, Fort LaBeouf, Iroquois. I would venture to say we open up at 2-0, although I think that Fort LaBeouf game may be a little harder than advertised. So if you can get out of there 2-0, then you got a 4-game road march.
Yep.
Again, weather pending. It's so hard to sit. You can do this with basketball, volleyball,
You're
football.
right.
It doesn't matter. When it comes to spring sports, all this could go out the window because of weather and whatnot.
Yep.
So let's talk about the first road game at McDowell. I don't know if we've ever played McDowell in recent years.
Played them when I played, and I think that might have been kind of
It's
the end
been
of it.
a while,
around
right?
there. Yeah, I don't think we faced them.
And then, of course, you go to Warren. And my gosh, they smoked us last year.
That was a rough game.
Alana Stewart is a monster from the pitching circle. And I always think about Warren games because it just seems like Corry and Warren parallel each other.
Yep.
Have you thought about that game and how to get hitting has been an issue early in the year.
I think that was more of a mental block that we got after those first couple at bats, and we just couldn't get out of it. I've been throwing to the girls a little bit, not that I'm the fastest, the most speed, but giving them a little different of a view. I can put a little movement on the ball still, even at this age, but I think they kind of appreciate that. Even just having the girls stand in with our pitchers with Peyton and Sadie and them the other day, they stood in. What movement did you see? Really just focusing in on that, paying attention to the ball, talking about how to make those adjustments to the speed. Just that mental side of hitting is huge. And I think sometimes we get into a little slump with that, but it's not that they can't do it. Like I said, it's not the ability, it's the mental side of hitting that really takes a toll on us at times, but they usually get out of it and then they're right back to normal.
So after the Warren game, we'll head to Meadville, which I don't know where their field's located at over there. I don't think I've been over there at their softball facility. But I know their football facility, we don't get good internet over there. So we'll have to bring Starlink.
Their baseball field isn't much better. I know it's kind of the other direction, the other side of the school as opposed to where the football field is. Football field school and then the baseball field.
Well, I'm just wondering, we got that Starlink system will break out again this year, but what do we know about Meadville? Same thing I know. Okay.
It's a totally different year compared to, like I've got binders and binders of stuff on all those other games, our pitch charts, everything else. And this year I'm kind of like, man, this is good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have to study all my notes as much. Obviously, I do have some games that I can go watch. Northeast, I know I've played a few of them, so we have that. But it's going to be a bit different this year than years past.
So Meadville, it's not like you can pull out and say, okay, Sharon has this pitcher, and it is a different monster. It's going to be an interesting season. We'll just say that as far as the schedule goes. From Meadville, you go to Girard. Again, Girard struggling a little with numbers. They're starting to get their program built back. We'll see what they do this year, but Corry should handle Girard on a talent level wise. And Girard plays hard, but they have trouble hitting. From what I remember a couple years ago, they had struggle hitting good pitching, and I feel like our pitching core is pretty solid.
For sure.
So that should be a win. So that gets us through the first, 6 games. Realistically, as a media outlet looking at it, I think we can get out of here 1, maybe 2 losses. And depends how we play. I think that Warren game's going to be the tough one with the pitching. But we play our game, who knows? But if you can get out of there with just 1 loss out of that first 6 games, you're off to a rocket start.
Yep. Those first couple are kind of sets the tone for the whole season.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing that we really focus on is coming out strong.
So after Girard, we'll have a couple home games. We'll host the Wildcats. That should be another fun one. That could go either way, depending on how we play and what the mindset of the girls are that day. But that should be a win. Union City is tough. They have been a tough cookie for years, even though they're down in Double-A. That'll be a fun one. And then we hit the road to Northeast. So I don't know. I'm not seeing more than 2 losses at the worst, right, out of that first half of the schedule.
Hopefully none.
Hopefully none. We always hope for the best,
Yep.
but realistically, we could say, okay, what if we do lose? We shouldn't lose more than 2.
Yep.
Then from there, Franklin, I don't know much about Franklin softball-wise. Basketball, I could tell you till I'm blue in the face because we see him every year, right? I don't even know last time we played. They were in our region, weren't they?
No.
Because I remember, and the reason why is because we have no internet over there when we were running hotspots, so we never went to Franklin.
Yes.
Because they played at the elementary school, so that's why I am not familiar with Franklin.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they're
my
behind the
apologies.
elementary school. Goodness.
Yeah. They usually come with a tough crew, though.
They have.
They have
yes.
a pitch. They have a good pitcher. Or did she
I
graduate?
think she graduated. Yes.
It was Edge, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah.
See, now
Trinity. Trinity Edge.
Yeah,
yes.
now
yep,
it's-
Yep. Now it's coming. Yeah.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me. Never mind. Anyways, Cathedral Prep's going to be tough. They're in the region this year. Then on the road at Conneaut, at Jamestown, at Fairview. Thank you, Mike Daniels, for scheduling 3 road games back to back to back over an hour. I love you. I'm just kidding. That's what happens when you drive 3.5 hours late to a ball game and have to do this in the morning. Conneaut will be tough. We know that. Jamestown, old rivalry friends. Jamestown.
Yep.
Muskies rocking the purple and gold. I know in the past it's been the check mark on the calendar, like the big red circle, Jamestown, there they are. Only get to see them once this year, and it's
Yep.
on the road.
Yep.
You only get one crack at it, so
I think he'll be good.
yeah,
think it's still the red circle.
Yeah. Do they have Biles back this year?
We were just, a couple of the girls and I were just talking about that yesterday at practice. We couldn't remember if she was a senior or not.
I think she's a senior this year.
Drawing a blank on if she was or not.
Because she started as a freshman, and I thought, oh my, she's going to be a problem in the future.
Yeah, it was actually just yesterday last night at practice we were talking about it, and I was going to get on and look and see if they had their roster up yet or not. Never did.
Yeah, so I remember when we went down, it was her freshman year, and we ended up coming back and winning that game. And we had packed up and went to eat, the wife and I, and her family were there eating, so we kind of paid for their meal. And I said, keep working, just trying to up, because you lose a game like that, you get down on yourself, especially as a freshman, right? But now she's developed into a heck of a pitcher, so that'll be a fun one to call, fun one to watch, and I'll probably have more gray hair than I have come in off of that game, but because you're getting into the crunch time of the schedule now. You got 8 games left after the Jamestown game. You'll go at Fairview, home against Girard, at Northwestern, home against Northeast. That part of the schedule, again, Northwestern, depending, looking at another 4-1 at worst, hopefully. And then we have rounded off with Cathedral Prep, and then 2 home games, Conneaut and Fairview.
Yep.
So, take your coaching hat off just for a minute.
All right.
Look at the schedule and tell me, what do you think the record's going to be?
I don't like that question.
I know you don't. And you know what? Coach C didn't like it either, but he had to answer it for baseball. So
I heard his answer.
You have to answer for softball, because that's what we do. We like to put you in the hot seat here once in a while.
I want an undefeated record. If not, I'd go with 2 losses.
2 losses on the year.
Be happy with that.
And you know what? I can roll with that. I'd say 4 at the worst, but I think realistically 2.
I'm going to set expectations high with this group.
It's very high. The expectations are through the roof, and that's going to be a lot of pressure on these girls early. And they're going to have to kind of manage that.
And I think they do a very good job with that.
They do very, and we talked about senior leadership, and this group of kids, we've seen it in volleyball, right? Dine, Sawyer, McCrae, they just didn't buckle under any pressure. We've seen it in the Richland game. These are that same group of kids now playing softball. They should be able to wear off on some of these younger kids and say, hey, this is nothing to stress about. Let's just play our game.
Yep. And that's what they do. They just have that. Nothing bothers them. I mean, we could be down 10 and they're still going to go out there and do everything in their power that they can and give their best. There's no giving up. I've never seen them give up, and especially that senior class in their 4 years. So
it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. We're going to take another quick break, pay some bills. When we get back, we'll wrap up the podcast. We'll have kind of an open forum here. We'll try and keep Dewey out of trouble so he doesn't say anything he shouldn't say, or whatever the case may be. You're watching the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. We'll be back right after this.
There'd be a lot of things that didn't get accomplished if it wasn't for Corry Community Foundation. They've just really been a driver behind improving the community.
3 of the organizations that I'm heavily involved with get assistance, get advisement, along with grants from the Corry Community Foundation. Without their help, there are many things in the Corry area that would not happen.
Organizations know that they are backed up, that they have somewhere to go if necessary for their funds.
CCF can help coordinate funds with other major donors and groups like ECRA and the Erie Community Foundation, and helping us get grants, matching dollar grants. So it's a way to compound our impact.
It needs an organization that's trying to make things happen.
So by going through the Corry Community Foundation, it will ensure that our money gets put in the places we care about here within Corry.
You don't have to be a millionaire. You can leave a couple $100, you could leave a couple $1,000, you can leave whatever. When everybody pulls together, it makes a big difference.
Your money is long going to outlive you for the benefit and the good of the community. And so I have comforts in knowing that CCF, long after Brad and I are gone, is that we're still going to be able to provide value to Corry just by even giving a little bit to the Corry Community Foundation.
Hi, this is Bob Brown from Corry Snap Fitness and our new facility. Hey, as summer is winding down and fall is coming around the corner, come in and check out all of our new equipment and fitness packages that we have here at Snap Fitness. Don't forget that we also have tanning, we have a walking track, and it's for beginners to the most advanced. We have it all. Come and see us at Corry Snap Fitness. My name is Bob Brown and I'm the owner.
And welcome back in here to the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. Scott Lockwood with you here at the Rotsbacker Insurance Studios with Mr. Dewey Hurd. And we also have a special guest in the house, Allison Williams, head coach of the Corry softball team. Discussed a lot, Coach, a lot of unknowns yet as we are still very, very young into the spring sports season. Hopefully next week you get a good look at this team. So the only thing really that I can think of that we haven't really talked about yet is the coaching staff. Same crew back this year?
Minus Jada Martin, but same crew other than that. Yep.
So
yep.
Jada's not around. So Kevin and Chip and Deluzio back? Or?
Yep, she is. Yep. And Hallie.
Hallie.
Hallie
Okay.
Broda. Yep.
I knew I was missing something.
Yep.
Sorry, Hallie. Didn't mean to leave you out there. So maybe run through real quick. Is there specific coaching responsibilities for each, or do you guys just kind of mix it up and do whatever?
We're all pretty good getting along. Kind of throw ideas off of each other here and there. I handle majority of it. Kind of ask for their opinions on certain things. We work fairly well together, but definitely, a lot of communication there that goes around with it. So,
all right. Chip's still in charge of JV this year, then, or kind of?
Most likely.
Well, he runs the base pad, anyways.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Dewey. It's just a different monster. You get in softball and baseball. It's unlike any other sports season we do. Coaching is different. There's more. Do they handle like different positions?
Nope.
So
we're all one.
It's all one. So
we usually split infield, outfield. Kind of Chip takes that on. I'll kind of stick with the infield with coverages and bunt coverages, stuff like that, because I have that pitcher side of it. But again, we're all over the place. Every practice, kind of helping out where needed, what we see needed.
Do you only work with the pitchers then, or do they all work with the pitching?
I only work with the pitchers.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. For the most part, my dad sometimes will. He sees different little things that I might have missed, or I'll go to him. What am I missing? We're not getting this to move, and he's quick to see it. I mean, he sat on a bucket for how many years of me pitching, so he sees some different things that I don't see sometimes. But
one thing I wanted to ask you, and I want to do it where you're not giving information away. I want to talk about the armband situation.
Okay.
Because we see a lot of teams using them nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you change it up year to year somewhat.
A little bit here and there. We've made tweaks. Yes.
You almost have to, because at some point, well, now this year it might not matter.
I didn't. Yeah.
So explain to us when you're calling whatever. Do you use colors, numbers?
Numbers, a 3-number system.
So you know it's 3 numbers.
Yep.
So how do you teach the girls the system?
We actually just practiced it again at practice today, because the freshmen were a little nervous about it. They haven't used it. So it's First number is down the side. The next two are across the top. So like 132. They're looking 1 here, and then they go across the top to find 32. And there's a letter, bunt, steal, like bunt is B, steal S, little stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's color coded too to help them stay in line of where they're trying to find it. But the pitching ones are a little different. We use a number system for that as well, and those are all color coded.
So
too.
that's a separate.
Yep, they have 2 different ones that they wear.
So how do your pitchers handle that? Do they ever get them mixed up?
There's been a few times that I'm like, hey, what'd you throw on that one? They're like, yeah, I missed that one. Like, because afterwards they'll go and look, like, I looked at the wrong one. They own right up to it. They don't try to hide it at all.
Well, you can't hide it, right?
Right.
I mean, that looked like nothing like I just called.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but half the time when they do miss one, it usually ends up working somehow. Like we strike them out or something, and they'll kind of be like, well, you should have called that one. So they'll give it right back to me.
I would like to hear. I'd like to be a fly in that dugout.
Oh, yeah. It's a good time.
We should mic you up this year. Would that be a good idea or no?
I don't know about that. Depends on which game it is.
Maybe not have it live. Maybe just record it and have clips on the side.
Right, that might be better.
I'm thoroughly looking forward to this season. The coaching staff. When is the big games, like senior night? When are we looking at that yet?
The very last home game. I can't have a date in my head,
that's
but
Fairview. That'll be the 13th of May.
That will be senior night.
Seems like we're ending quick this year.
It does seem, but I feel like we can kind of push back a little if needed.
With the weather, right?
Yeah, there's that drop dead date that you have to have your games in.
When is the last game in by?
I would have to look it up again. I don't have it on top of my head, but
so that'll be something we can look into. The playoffs. Do we have dates?
Memorial Day weekend there, like it always is.
It always is. Yep. Well, that's where the championship games are.
Championship, yeah. Leading up to that is.
So what's it? Usually a week or 2 weeks before it starts.
I think one.
1 week. Okay. Well, we're looking forward to the season. Like we're hearing high expectations across the board. A lot of people are talking about, excited about it. So I know I'm ready to cover it. I know Rob's ready. And we'll bring Knucklehead here when Rob can't make it, if he's not doing something else. But Dewey, anything for the coach?
Just welcome back to the show. I mean, we've had you on in the years past. Thanks for coming out again. What does it mean to you to be the coach of a program that you came up through, all the way from a little girl playing little league softball, all the way up through graduation? You went to college, and then you come back to your hometown. What does that mean, being back at where you had your roots from?
It's pretty special. That's all I can say. When we took that first District 10 title, I mean, you can see all those interviews. I was pretty emotional. The last one we had was my freshman year of high school. So I love that I can give back to the program that gave so much to me throughout, even though, that high school Little League tie is a little different. But it's still, you're coming up through the same program and going into this. So it's always been a goal of mine, and means a lot to me. And I think that's where all the heart that I have goes into it, is because I went through the program and I know how successful that it was and it can be, and where we're getting back to.
All right. I guess, I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. I may be lurking. I may want to do a couple interviews.
I think you have a couple who would really enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know who they would be. Maybe Chamberlain or McCrae, or I don't know. Yeah, go get them this year, girls. That's what I'll say. And you're more than welcome to come on the podcast anytime. Anybody can, really. So we'll probably have you back mid-season, maybe, if we're still doing it by then. And bring whoever you want with you. Get the seniors to come. I know at the end of the year we'd like to do that with the seniors.
Okay. They would enjoy it.
They were supposed to come with Coach Goodsell when he came, and we did the volleyball wrap-up, but that didn't happen because they started basketball, and some of them couldn't make it, and some were off doing whatever. And here's the stinky part about everything. With all the sports blending in like this, I had a box for an Erie Otters game for the entire volleyball team, and we were not able to use it because we couldn't get everybody together.
Aww.
So
Yeah, they go one into the next.
Yeah, it's like
and overlapping
it's crazy.
sometimes.
So, but hey, Coach, thanks for coming on today. You know, we and I say this to every coach that comes in here. Aside from the coaching staffs and the parents, you're not going to find bigger fans than us of Corry Beaver Athletics. We root these kids on wholeheartedly every game. It's hard to, and that's where I got to toot my own horn just a little bit, because it's hard to call a game when you're such a fan of our kids and still find a way to call it semi down the middle. So that's the only thing I'll ever brag about when we're doing games, other than the fact that I have to keep somebody else in line. But we thoroughly enjoy covering these kids and these sports, and go get them this year.
Thank you.
I mean, we're excited about this year, and we expect big things from the softball team, and can't wait for the season to get going.
Same. And thank you for all covering everything and all that you guys do. We really appreciate it, and I know our parents do too. So
yeah, we get it all the time, and you know what? It's an honor of ours. We just love what we do. We're able to do something we love, and when you do that, you don't work a day in your life. So that's kind of where we're at. Unless you're doing, you have to work a machine shop and make screws for a living, but that's what it is. Hey, you're watching the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. What do we have coming up? I don't think we have anything coming up now until the All-Star Basketball. Well, aside from the season. So we got the East-West All-Star Basketball game. That can be streamed right here on DeejExperience.com. And our first game, well, weather pending, we open up Wednesday, March 19th, Fort LaBeouf here at home. So here we go. Allison, thanks for joining us.
thank you.
Till next time, for Dewey Harrod, I'm Scott Lockwood here from the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. God bless you all. Stay tuned to our Facebook page as we post all of our upcoming events up on there. You can tune in tomorrow for the Harvest Community Church service at 10 a.m. Until then, God bless you all. We'll see you next time on the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast.